Would you please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. Item number 1, acceptance of meeting minutes, discussion and possible action with vote with regard to the acceptance of meeting minutes from the meeting of January 2nd, 2018 to be accepted and approved by the Town Council. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman DiLorenzo. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 2, Overlook at Camp Meehan Fund. Mayor Lombardi requests discussion and vote regarding the Overlook at Camp Meehan Fund. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. As you know, Camp Meehan is become a bright star for the town, so to say. It's always been my opinion and goal to have Camp Meehan become self-sustainable. And I think the only way that we can accomplish that is by separating the funds that are derived from the rentals at Camp Meehan, that those monies go into a separate account in the budget, and a separate fund, so that those dollars at some point can be reinvested in that property so that it can become self-sustainable. As of today, Camp Meehan has derived approximately $40,000 in additional revenue to the town of North Providence. It's the best-kept secret in the town. It's become one of the best-kept secrets in the state of Rhode Island. More and more people are frequenting Camp Meehan, and more people are learning as to what we have there. The rentals are becoming more and more apparent for us as more and more people attend that facility. I think the bookings for this up-and-coming spring and summer, based on what I'm told by the Recreation Department, is filling rapidly. So that being said, I personally feel, and hopefully you would support this ordinance that's before you, so that all of the funds will be put in a separate account. You'll get a report on that, whether it be monthly or most definitely once a year when the budget is set up for that property. We're in the process, while I'm speaking with you, of meeting tomorrow. We did receive the funding for an amphitheater at Camp Meehan, so all of the plans are being finished at this time. We'll continue to seek funds. All new lighting's been put up the driveway, and the ingress and the egress of that property. So I think it's the right thing to do. I think anyone that comes from business or has any business sense would support the fact of that those funds that are derived be put into a separate account. I'll probably be back to see you maybe in a month or two, also to talk about the senior center. We're putting together a brochure. That's a beautiful facility also. The room that is at the center, I had asked 4 or 5 years ago that we think about renting that room out. The board at that time, they didn't support that. We're receiving calls also for rental of the ballroom at the center. That will give us additional revenue for the town of North Providence. So hopefully you would support this method of business management. I think it's the right thing for the town, the taxpayers, and for the residents of the town, especially those that are using those facilities.
Councilman DiLorenzo?
Mayor, I was at the senior center 2 days ago. Yesterday. That place is thriving. It looks great. Everyone's happy. It's a great thing to see. It really is. Congratulations on that.
Well, not only congratulations to me, it's to you guys also, and Alice, for supporting the fact that it needed to become a town department. I can guarantee you this, that once the personnel is put in order there, and the bingo will be coming back shortly. The programs are all being reinstituted. It will be thriving more than ever, and we will be operating that facility for a lot less tax dollars. So thank
Any
you.
other questions? Okay, do I have a motion to introduce the ordinance the mayor has presented for a hearing at next month's council meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman DiLorenzo. Any further questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 3, purchase of property at 175 Bourne Avenue. Mayor Lombardi requests discussion and vote regarding the purchase of property at 175 Bourne Avenue. Mayor?
Yes, similar as we have done in the past with important parcels of land, especially that abut our property. There was a home on in the rear of our public safety annex that has went up for public auction, foreclosure, so to say, and we found out that that was happening. We had someone ask some questions there, and didn't first want anyone to know that it was a town that was interested, because we thought that that would drive the price up. So we have before you a purchase and sales agreement for $127,000. I will tell you this, that home is on our tax rolls for $193. It's assessed that. We had an appraiser go in, and at this point in time, the appraiser is telling us that in the condition that it's in, it's worth, in his opinion, $145,000. But because it will become part of our property and abuts our property, at the and when we sell it, because when the new public safety complex is built, that's going to be a decision: do we sell all of the property? Do we lease the property? That will be a call of hopefully all of us. And that being said, the other reason why I think we need to own that property is because you're all familiar with the gas depot that we have behind the police and fire complex. It's on the corner, Bourne and McGuire. Now, the plans for the new complex does not include that gas depot to be moved to the new complex, because being that it's a public safety complex and it's going to be basically an enclosed facility, and not only police and fire are using that depot, DPW and all other vehicles, it's been the opinion of the colonel and the police department that the depot shouldn't be put behind the gates at the police station. So let's assume that someone comes in and wants to purchase or lease that property once we vacate, and the gas depot becomes an issue because it's on the corner. Well, now we have this lot that we'd be able to, and that gas storage is above ground, so it wouldn't be that difficult to move. We now have a home to put that depot that would not halt or get in the way of a sale of that property as to where we are now. So we felt that for that $127,000 to have the town protected, or at the best case scenario, for that to double in value, is the right thing, for the benefit of the taxpayers of the town. I'm told by the controller we do have the funds for that lot, so I did enter into, this is pending your approval, I did enter into a purchase and sales agreement, and hopefully we'll be able to close in a couple of weeks.
Does anybody have any questions for the mayor? Councilman?
Good evening. Mayor, I think the idea of buying the house is a great move. Like you said, with the gas tanks, I think it helps in the future. Is there a means that we could utilize the Google funds to purchase the property, or are there any grants available that we could utilize without?
We can't use the Google funds, Ray. We did check on that. And we do have a grant person checking into that. I'm not going to stay in here and, let you think that this is a bright light for funds. I'm not positive. We'll do whatever we can as we have in all other instances, but I wouldn't be too hopeful, so to say, that there is grant. We really don't have, how can I say, a bona fide, I shouldn't say a bona fide, I think a reason to be funded for the purchase of that because of what we want to use it for. Basically, what we're buying it for is, it's an investment that we know we could probably at least double our money once it becomes part of the entire parcel. So I don't know that there would be grant funds for that, or for them to ask, for us to ask for grant money, Ray, to move the fuel depot. I want to be able to say to you, don't worry about it, yes, but I can't at this point.
Okay. No, that's fair.
But as if we've done of everything else, and I think and I'll talk to you, I'm going to stick around to talk to you about that Wentworth Street, and we do have funds for that. But to answer
Any other
anyone else's
questions?
question.
Okay, do I have a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the mayor to sign the sales agreement as presented, and for the mayor to sign the necessary documents to complete the purchase? Motion's been made by Councilman Di Lorenzo, seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. Any further questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, item number 4, change of prior value for Terrace Street land previously abandoned. Tax Assessor Thomas W. Kane requests discussion and vote on the value of abandoned property on Terrace Street. Mr. Kane?
Good evening.
Thank you.
I believe you all received the memo that I gave to the town clerk regarding the... No? Well, the memo that I submitted states that when I originally gave a value of $31,200, I was unaware that Terrace Street that was going up for abandonment was more or less just ledge. I was under the impression that there was actually more usable land that was going to be made available in that abandonment. Because of the condition of the property, because of the significant slope, and the fact that the majority of that land is unusable, I'm asking the council to revise the value to $12,090.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Kane? Councilman?
Thank you, Mr. President. I received nothing on this from Manhattan. No one's given me any papers whatsoever for this. Is there a house on the property?
No, this was a street abandonment.
This was, okay.
Sure. Does anybody have any other questions? Mayor?
So I suggested maybe give that to Mr. Di Lorenzo Bishop, you could explain to him, I can explain to you where it is, Steve.
Yeah.
So Cushing Street,
Right.
if you're going up on the left, behind those houses on the left of Cushing Street is this Terrace Street. It was a paper street,
Right.
but it's basically ledge and not really buildable. So I think that was the issue
Okay, so you're looking to reduce it from 31,200 to 12,090, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do I have a motion to reduce the property value,
I just have one question.
Councilman?
So, the property, have we abandoned this already?
I believe it was,
When did we abandon it?
Is this,
Okay.
I believe I think it was November 7th was the final vote.
September meeting, possibly? It was part of the copy now, the storage
The
facility.
storage development?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the street we had to abandon to make that project possible.
Okay.
You all set?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have a motion to reduce the value of the
So
property?
moved.
Motion-
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman Viola. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 5, MAP Entertainment LLC DBA Bailey's Pub. Summons was delivered to Michael Paserno, President and Registered Agent of MAP Entertainment LLC DBA Bailey's Pub, located at 1910 Smith Street, North Providence, RI, for a formal hearing and possible vote concerning the BV liquor and entertainment licenses for this establishment and the failure to complete the requirements to renew said licenses. All requirements have been met, sort of a motion to have a motion to pass this off the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 6, Ken Walk Incorporated, DBA Ken Walk. Summons was delivered to attorney Mark Boobin, registered agent for Ken Walk Incorporated, DBA Ken Walk, located at 1601 Middle Spring Avenue, North Providence, Rhode Island, for a formal hearing and possible vote concerning the BV liquor license for this establishment and the failure to complete the requirements to renew said license. Do I have a motion to pass this off the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman DiLorenzo. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 7, Tumble Salts Cafe LLC, DBA Tumble Salts Cafe. Summons was delivered to attorney Gregory J. Shadone, registered agent for Tumble Salts Cafe LLC, DBA Tumble Salts Cafe, located at 2209 Middle Spring Avenue, North Providence, Rhode Island, for a formal hearing and possible vote concerning the BV liquor and entertainment licenses for this establishment and the failure to complete the requirements to renew said licenses. Do I have a motion to pass this off the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman DiLorenzo. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 8, Class F liquor license. Town Council to consider a vote for the approval of a Class F license for St. Pius School for an event to be held at Me and Overlook on April 7, 2018. Is anyone here from St. Pius? Can you just state your name for the record, please?
Sure. My name is Kayla Beauvais. Good evening. I'm here representing St. Pius V School. I am a parent of a student there. I'm also the co-chair of our Spring Gala event that will be taking place on Saturday, April 7th. We're asking the town council today to approve a liquor license for us to be able to serve liquor at our event. We are a nonprofit organization, so we'll be using the donations from the liquor sales, which we'll be using tickets as well for those beverages, to have the funds go back to our school. So this is part of our school event that we have every year. Last year, this event was the second largest for our school. It brought in about $21,000. That money really is to keep our school alive. We are located in Providence. However, and actually, Mayor Lombardi set us up pretty greatly that we saw the Meehan Overlook and we thought it was a great establishment. It really has a great setting. And we really would appreciate you considering our request tonight.
That's great that you're having it there.
Yes.
Is there any questions? I have a motion to grant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman DiLorenzo. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? You guys have it. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Item number 9, victualling license. Town council to consider approval of a victualling license for Marsala Indian Cuisine at 2009 Smith Street, North Providence, Rhode Island, continue from the January regular meeting. Is anyone here from Marsala Indian Cuisine? Is anyone here from Marsala Indian Cuisine? Is anyone here from Marsala Indian Cuisine? Okay, do I have a motion to defer this to the March meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 10, victualling license. Town council to consider approval of a victualling license for Anthony Ritchie, DBA Frankie's New York Style Deli at 1525 Smith Street, North Providence, Rhode Island. You just please state your name for the record.
How you doing?
Good. Just state your name for the record.
Anthony Ritchie.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Ritchie?
I just have one quick question,
Councilwoman?
Mr. Ritchie. I see that you're going to be open 7 days a week. What are your hours going to be for those days?
24 hours a day. No. I haven't said that. It's probably 8 o'clock till around 7 o'clock at night.
Okay, thank you. I know you'll complete that when you go in for final approval with the clerk.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? There being none, do I have a motion to grant?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman DiLorenzo, seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Good luck. Thank you. Item number 11, contacting State DOT. Council President Audiello requests discussion and vote on contacting the State DOT regarding no parking signs on High Service Avenue from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. weekdays on pole number 23 and pole number 24. I put this item on the agenda a couple months ago because someone from Ripter reached out to me. What's happening is the buses are pulling out of Fatima Hospital. They can't fully make the swing, and therefore they have to back up onto High Service Avenue, which is quite dangerous, especially when the kids are going to school in the morning. We obviously learned that that has to go through the state, so I'm requesting to send a letter to the State DOT to look into this matter and place no parking signs from weekdays, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I could just maybe bring you up to date. So we had a conversation with Mr. Prestaro from the DOT, couple of conversations the last couple of weeks. He asked us to send a communication, and we could send it jointly. But there's a meeting on March 7th at the DOT that we will be attending. We did have conversation also this past week with the principals of the hospital as to what their take is and what they'd like to see. They're in favor of this. Seems like we're all on the same page, so to say. But I just wanted to bring it to your attention that there will be a meeting in Market, March 7th at the DOT. We will be on their agenda to discuss this issue.
Okay.
So if you could just maybe through our office and the clerk's office, we can, polish up that letter tomorrow, get it in, because they do want it. They do want it by the end of this week.
Okay, thank you for the update.
All right? Thank you.
Okay. The letter was in the form of a motion.
So moved.
Motion's
Second.
been made by Councilman DeStefanis, seconded by Councilman Brady. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 12, Subcommittee for High School Athletic Field. Councilwoman Brady and Council President Audiello request discussion and vote to send a letter to the school committee asking to form a subcommittee to review aspects of the high school athletic field. This item was not listed correctly on the agenda, so Councilwoman Brady, would you want to just clarify the language that we had talked about?
Yes, basically what we had requested would be to ask for a discussion and vote to send a letter to the school committee suggesting that they form a subcommittee to review aspects of the high school athletic field.
Okay. Did you want to elaborate a little on?
Yeah, I would. Thank you, Mr. President. Last month, we were privileged to hear from the proponents of turf fields and grass fields, and both presented very excellent points regarding the two types of fields that are available for installation at our high school athletic field. Everyone I've spoken to throughout the community, high school, everywhere in government, agrees that we all need a new athletic field. The President and I believe that to arrive at the best possible decision, all stakeholders should be involved in that decision. Because it is a high school field that is in need of replacement, we'd like to send a letter to the school committee respectfully requesting that they consider forming a subcommittee for this purpose. And I'd like to put this in the form of a motion, Mr. President.
Okay, a motion's been made by Councilman Brady. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Fiola. Any questions? Councilman?
Thank you, Mr. President. It's not really a question, just a comment, and I'm not really sure if we could work this into the letter, but after hearing presentations over the last couple meetings and obviously having conversations amongst ourselves, one thing that dawned on me is that we've totally been focused on the football field, but nobody's ever mentioned the baseball field, and I wonder if, you know, if we're going to make that kind of an expenditure, if we could maybe address two things at once. I mean, that baseball field is not in the best of shape, but we do have a Division I program, one of the best managers in the state, in Dean Garganese, and I think we would be remiss if we didn't at least consider some of the options with the baseball field as well.
Absolutely.
Good point. Well stated.
Sir, did you want to speak? Just state your name for the record, please.
I'm here, Lori Dano and some of the other people that had spoke regarding the turf field. Some avenues that they were going over with me they didn't address as options with the turf fields as well. Most turf fields, and I've been all over the country with soccer and sports with my daughter, and most states have opted to go with turf fields because of long-term cost of maintenance of grass fields. With the amount of people that we have in North Providence, it's only 5.8 square miles, 32,000 people. It's a lot of traffic. The sustainability of a grass field just doesn't work with all the options with Pop Warner and everything else. With a turf field, we can open that up to renters as well as an income generator to recoup some of the money towards the initial investment of putting in a turf field, as well as in the future generating costs to sustain maintenance and sustain redoing the field as needed about 10, 12 years down the road. It is a big cost up front, but those generate down to grass fields with total maintenance, water, and total run around about $90 per hour out of that rentals. So if you rent it for around $300 an hour for one full field, you can break that up into smaller sections as well. But once you run that into about $300 an hour, you're taking about $90 to $100 of that in maintenance on a grass field. On a turf field, over 10 years. Now, a grass field also only works about 25 weeks out of the year if you push it into the cold weather, which also damages the field. But as a turf field, you can run almost all year round, with the exception of major snowfall. And you're talking about $40 per hour of maintenance out of that. I can get the budgeting if it was something you'd want to see as well. But as they were talking to me, I just felt like that was something that I've been a part of my whole life with playing soccer and traveling the country at different facilities. Everybody uses it as an income generator, and even in the state of Rhode Island, they use it as an income generator. And I understand that there are other towns that have grass fields, like Westerly and some other ones, but they also have 74 square miles, 10,000 less people, and they have individual facilities for each sport: lacrosse, soccer, football. Practice facilities are separate from the school turf field. We don't have that availability here as much. So I'd just like to put that into consideration as you make your decision to send this to the school committee.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Libby? Councilman?
Oh, no, I got a question for the council. So I applaud the effort of creating the subcommittee. I love the fact that we're gonna add in the the potential, looking at the baseball field. My only question is, like the facilities committee for the school bond program, if we create a subgroup, shouldn't a council member be on that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think I think we'll have to determine who would be on it. What I just don't want to happen is, this council chamber becomes, home base for debating whether we're gonna use a grass field or a turf, grass field or a turf field. Because ultimately, that decision will be up to, really the school committee, and they'll have to come to us at some point for the funding. So I think, that was suggested at the last council meeting, from Dr. Bucci, I wanna say it was Martha's Vineyard, if I'm remembering off the top of my head, where you said, the proponents of a natural grass field got together with the proponents of a turf field, and they all kinda figured out what was best for the town, so. I think this is just to get the conversation started, but, we can absolutely decide who's gonna be on that committee at some point. Any other questions? Okay, so a motion was made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 13, repeal of ordinance section 19-24, overnight parking, 1 hour limit. Councilman Fiola requests discussion and vote for the repeal of ordinance section 19-24, overnight parking, 1 hour limit. Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I placed this item on the agenda. I didn't realize we actually had this ordinance in the town. I feel it's a hindrance for the residents to blanket everyone under this category. Basically, we do not, right now, it is against the law in North Providence to park overnight on the street, according to this ordinance. I think it's unfair for larger families with smaller driveways. We do have residents in the town that have larger driveways, larger streets. So I would ask for your support and send this to ordinance to repeal.
Okay, Councilman Fiola. Well, first we should make a motion advertising this ordinance at next month's council meeting.
Okay.
Motion, is that in the form of a motion?
That's in the form of a motion.
Is there a
Second.
Second by Councilman Brady. Mayor?
Just a suggestion, and maybe we could notify the police department, and
Send a letter
maybe
to the
some
police
type of a
department as well.
recommendation as to if this should be repealed, or maybe there's a way that we can take it on a case-by-case.
Well, right now, we
situation.
do handle parking issues on a case-by-case basis. We do offer residential parking. This would have no bearing on any emergency for snow removal or anything. This is just a general ordinance, like the
I
city
just
of
think the
Providence and
only
Cranston.
dangerous part of that, Stephen, may be on some of the narrower streets, that if people are parking on both sides of the street, does it hamper, the fire apparatus? That I don't know. So I just thought that maybe it might be the right thing to get some type of some feedback from, public safety, that at least being the police department. But the final call is going to be yours.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilman Fiola, seconded by Councilman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Guys have it. Item number 14, covered trash containers. Councilman Di Lorenzo requests discussion and vote regarding covered trash containers. Councilman?
Thank you, Mr. President. As you all know, I've been on this since I got here with the trash containers. However, budget season is coming, so I want to make sure that we're ready for it. What I'd like to do is send an RFP to ensure some of the needs. I would also like to get a current trash contract for review in the Finance Committee. I believe the current contract expires shortly as well. I may be wrong on that, but I think. I believe this town council can get together on this issue. I think we're all on the same page, taking care of the health and safety issues for our neighborhoods, for our entire town. I also believe, finance-wise, that this town council can find 1/2 of 1% in our budget to create a better environment for all of us. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to make a motion, if I can, to send the Finance Committee that it would have all that we needed, things pertaining to the issue in the Finance Committee for the trash. That's the first one.
Okay, a motion's been made by Councilman Di Lorenzo. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay.
Second motion is I'd like to have the current contract sent to the Finance Committee as well.
Okay, a motion's been made by Councilman Di Lorenzo requesting the current trash contract. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Amorigi. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Third motion, thank you, Mr. President. Third motion is to send a letter to the administration to include trash containers in the RFP as well, so that the council can determine trash with or without the trash containers.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilman Di Lorenzo to send a letter to the administration requesting a comparison of a budget with
Right.
and without covered trash containers. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 15, community policing. Councilman Di Lorenzo requests discussion and possible vote on community policing. Councilman?
Thank you, Mr. President. Community policing, something I truly believe in. It brings the police department closer to the community, which benefits everyone. It's proactive with some of the things they do, the scams in the elderly complexes and crimes to them. You know, when they're around, it's good. They're a nice liaison for the children to get involved in sports and activities. Perhaps we could put some of our residents on a board for each of the substations, the one in Maryville and the one on Nantucket Avenue. And, you know, it's something that I would like to see. I'm sure you guys in Maryville would like to see as well. So I'd like to make a motion to send a letter to our police chief, asking him to give us his plan, to see what he thinks and how we can all benefit from it.
I applaud you for putting that on the agenda. I think community policing is a great concept. So a motion's been made by Councilman Di Lorenzo, seconded by Councilman Brady. Any questions?
Mr. President, I'd just like to
Councilman?
as having a community police station on Charles Street in Maryville, I would love to see it active. I think it would be a great thing, especially in District 2. So I hope and pray that, you know, we head down that road and start re-engaging our community policing. And I think, you know, I just want to say for the record that I think Lieutenant Scaramuzzo, who I believe is still our community policing officer, I think he does an incredible job. So I just wanted to say thank you to him. But again, I, you know, really would love to see that community policing station on Charles Street being active.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, members of the council, this is a release that went out on February 2nd of a new program that the police department and the chief is setting up, and hopefully this could fall within, you know, your request, Steve, which is being called a community roll call forum. And what it states here, it's cultivating relationships with our community. As you know, it's been my pet peeve over the last maybe couple of years that we needed to interact with the community more than we do. I want the officers in the community. I don't want to see them parked on Middle Spring Avenue, Douglas Avenue, Woonasquatucket Avenue. I think they need to be right into the communities. They see some of our youth playing basketball. Stop. Hi, I'm Officer Raymond. I'm Officer Stephen. How you doing? And, you know, befriend those kids in the community. So that being said, and discussing this with the chief on a number of times in the last couple of months since he's been here, he had sent this to me, I want to say a week or two ago, to approve this program. I think it's going to be great, and I think that it's a step in the right direction. Hopefully, Steve, it'll fall right in with what you'd like to see here, and I think we need to support it. I think we need to be involved in this forum. So that being said, when I saw this on the agenda, I thought I should also give you a copy of this news release that went out last week.
Councilman?
Mayor, So I think this is great. I understand our chief's new, you know, getting acclimated. And I, you know, applaud his effort of starting to engage the community. But are there any plans for the substations?
The substation, I know that's on the review at this point in time, Ray. They haven't really utilized the substation in a while. Now, the agreement we have with the owners of the substation is that we relieve them of their tax payment to the town, and we would maintain that building. Now, the police were using it, I want to say quite a bit 4 or 5 years ago. For the last couple of years, police really haven't utilized it that much. And I think it's the same reason why there's an issue at the Lymansville storefront. The people that were involved in both of those storefronts seem to just, it's like the volunteer fire department. After a while, you have to have permanent people. And for some reason, the Lymansville storefront became defunct, so to say, and so is the Merrillville storefront. We're in the process right now of, you know, we're discussing it with the chief. What do you think we should do? What's the right thing to do? So, to answer your question, I think that's where we are at this point in time. The Merrillville group had a very, very active group at one point in time. They really did. And then it just started to dwindle, so to say. The Lymansville group with Marianne down there, they had a very, very active group, but they also started to dwindle. It's just the matter of people, you know, committing time to spend at those storefronts. We're not going to be doing anything at this point until the chief and Lieutenant Scaramuzzo, which I agree does a great job, decide if we can get people involved. It'll be great. If you can't get people involved, then to keep a storefront there for an officer to go down and maybe write a report or use the facilities, I don't know that the taxpayer should be paying, you know, $2,000 or $3,000 a year for that. We can use it, make it useful to the neighborhood, and there's some other things going on down there. We're waiting to hear for some property from National Grid, and we'll keep you informed.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilman DiLorenzo, seconded by Councilman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Yeah, I don't care. Don't bother me.
Okay, I'm going to skip to item number 20, property located at 1113 to 1117 Middle Spring Avenue, proposed use. Councilman DeStefanis requests discussion and vote on the recent zoning decisions by the zoning and planning boards concerning the property located at 1113 and 1117 Middle Spring Avenue and proposed use. Councilman?
Mr. President, thank you. I put this on the agenda this evening because I wanted to discuss what I feel has occurred over the last couple of months with this property. I first want to state on the record that I've been a member of this council for over 3 years, and over that period of time, I think we've done everything that we could to bring businesses into this community and to figure out how we can help them to succeed. I do appreciate the developer coming into this property. I do appreciate them wanting to reconstruct a building at this location. I actually, you know, love the fact that they're here. What I don't agree with is the fact that the property is zoned a commercial village. And commercial village basically states that it's the purpose of establishing a neighborhood commercial land use that's recognized certain areas of the town categorized by smaller business establishments. Now, when you look at our comprehensive plan and you look at how we determine what a commercial village is, it explicitly states that it's a neighborhood feel. It explicitly states that it's, you know, establishments that are not fast food, that are not auto service stations. So the first problem I have with this is we deemed the applicant a retail bakery. So in the eyes of our comprehensive plan, that seemed to fit. But how do you define a retail bakery? The applicant currently is not gonna be baking anything on site. So when you look at our comprehensive plan really doesn't define what a retail bakery is. It actually doesn't even define what fast food is. So when I looked up the definitions of a retail bakery, it's an establishment that produces and sells flour-based food from an oven. When I looked at fast food, it's food that can be prepared quickly and easily and is sold in restaurants as a quick meal or to be taken out. And that's where my problem with this is. I don't understand how we granted a special variance for a drive-through for this location and also deemed it retail bakery, when in fact, in my opinion, it's fast food. You're not producing the item on site. The drive-through is majority of this applicant's business. The drive-through signifies that it'll be a quick meal. So to me, I can't comprehend how a location with a drive-through like this can be authorized to operate in a commercial village zone. I mean, our comprehensive plan, at some point in time, our planning board, our zoning board, and a council got together and created the comprehensive plan that we currently have. And I feel that we need to live in that comprehensive plan. I also feel that our comprehensive plan should define these categories. We should have a definition of what a retail bakery is in the comprehensive plan. We should have one for fast food. I also have an issue with the fact that I don't believe, I appreciate everything that our zoning and planning boards do. I don't agree with the direction they were given. In my opinion, in order to grant a special variance under section 506, X amount of items have to meet a requirement. And one of those requirements are an ingress and an ingress study concerning automotive and pedestrian safety. At the time of the zoning board meeting, that traffic study wasn't completed, nor did the individual hired to perform the traffic study give any testimony stating the impact that this would have. So, based on all of this, I really would like to send this to the Finance Committee to not only review this, but review potentially what it would cost or what it would take to potentially appeal this.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Councilman DeStefanis? Questions or motion? Motion's been made to send this item to the Finance Committee. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman DiLorenzo. Any further questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Item number 10, stop sign. Councilman DeStefanis requests discussion and possible vote on installing a stop sign at the intersection of Manchester Farm Road and Mock Drive. Councilman?
Mr. President, I've been asked by residents of Manchester Farm Road and also Mock Drive to have stop signs installed. There is currently a stop sign at the intersection of Mock Drive, when Mock Drive meets, at Manchester Farm Road where Manchester meets Mock. So I'm requesting that we place stop signs on Manchester Farm Road to try to slow the traffic there based on the residents' complaint of excess speeding. Correct, I'm sorry. Place the stop signs on Mark Drive. Thank you. I'm also asking that we send a letter to the colonel of the police department requesting that he issue potential D-runs, so we have some sort of police presence on that road for a period of time that maybe, a police presence will start to get people more aware of not only the stop signs, but also that, you can't speed through neighborhoods, so maybe we can help reduce the, the traffic that's currently there.
Okay, do I have a motion to, Councilman, is that a motion to introduce the ordinance for next month's meeting for a stop sign at the corner of Manchester Farm Road and Mock Drive?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Brady. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. And also, Councilman DeStefanis made a motion to send a letter to our colonel to provide D-runs on those streets. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Brady. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 17,
Mr. Chairman?
flooding issues.
Mr.
Councilman-
Chairman, just one question. Just to let all of you know, so today, we had the first meeting. The colonel had, and they're interacting with the youth commission, that we'll be addressing every stop sign in town. So they're splitting them up into, I want to say it's 4 different groups over the next 3 weeks to see what stop signs are legal and which stop signs are not. We have a number of stop signs in this town that we believe were put up without the necessary ordinance. So just to let you know, we're addressing that. It has become an issue where someone goes through a stop sign, so we cite that person. And if the stop sign wasn't introduced properly, we have no right to cite that person. So we thought it was time to address every stop sign in town. So I also think that it's a great suggestion if we have Lieutenant Scaramuzo, take a look at this area, to make sure that, any new stop signs, not only this particular area, any new stop signs that are proposed, there is justification for that stop sign to be enacted, so to say. But just to let you know, today was our first meeting. It was very, very positive. I did receive an email from the colonel, and very, very happy with the outcome. So just so you know what's going on.
Item number 17, flooding issues. Councilman DeStefanis requests discussion and possible vote on flooding issues along Wentworth Avenue and surrounding areas. Councilman.
Mr. President, I placed this on the issue this evening. Residents in the area of Wentworth Avenue had approached me, provided me with information. Our last couple of rainstorms, I've gone down and met them and looked at the current situation that they're dealing with on a daily basis. I've provided pictures that they've provided to me. I understand from the administration that we are on top of the issue, that we have now received a grant. But I needed to put this on the agenda because I need to give the residents of that area relief in knowing that this problem is being addressed, that this problem will be corrected, because as you can see from the pictures, it's pretty impactful to live on that street. And then also on Wentworth Avenue, we have a senior housing complex that our housing authority owns. So not only, are we is this issue creating water problems for individuals in their homes, which could lead to health and safety with mold. The street freezes up after it rains. It creates a hazard potentially for safety apparatus to get down the street with the senior housing, building right on Wentworth Avenue. So again, I placed this on the agenda. I'm sure the mayor will provide us an update, but I need assurance. I need to give assurance to the residents that we are correct in this matter.
Thank you, Councilman. Mayor?
So, Mr. Chairman, members of the council, we did receive, I want to say it may have been about 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, a grant for $240,000 to address that problem. So as the councilman stated, we are on top of this. It is out to bid as we speak. Might have gone out to bid maybe a week or two ago. So we think it's going to be a few more dollars more than the 240, but the project will be undertaken. We know it's an issue. We know it's a serious issue, and that's the reason why we sought any funds that we could. We were successful. Lisa got us that $240,000 on that. So again, Ray, to notify those residents, we did speak with a couple of them, and that property there, right, is up the street that you're talking about is owned by the housing authority. But it's an issue. And this issue, by the way, it's basically, it was like, it's almost like kicking the can down the road. So we straightened out Evergreen Park. This is where the water ends up. Once we clear this up, and the water goes down Douglas Avenue, and it ends up right on the side of 146 there, where the rug company was that was underground a dozen times. But we'll take care of our issue. It's on the way, and it's on schedule, so to say. So I want to say, once the bid's open and we award the contract, hopefully that job will be on the way maybe in a couple of months. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, item number 18, council iPads and software applications. Councilman DeStefanis requests discussion and possible vote on council iPads and software issues. Councilman?
Mr. President, I approached communications with a question concerning my iPad because I'm having trouble updating the iPad. I'm having trouble installing software on the iPad. And the Director of Communications and myself was speaking, and he was telling me how the software today is quite large, and the current iPad in its configuration might not be able to handle the updates. He also had mentioned to me that, you know, the age of these units that are here, I mean, when I was elected, I was given this iPad. I've had it 3 years now. The previous individual that represented this district had it, I don't know how many years prior to that. So Ralph had suggested that we potentially look at upgrading the iPads to newer models with larger capacity to handle the applications that we currently use. So he provided me an email to tell me that these iPads are more than 5 years old, they're 3 generations behind, and to replace these iPads would cost about $3,200, and he thought that the investment in replacing them would be well worth it. So I placed a motion on the table to authorize, I don't know, Mayor, is it authorizing the Director of Communications? Is he the one who makes the purchase, or is it the council that makes the purchase? And I'm sorry, Mr. President, to ask the question.
No, it's okay.
Now, I'm sure Ralph would address that for you, but I stand to be corrected. The funds, I believe, are there because I think you have an account.
Correct.
But I'm sure he'll take care of it for you. You've been in discussion with him. As far as I'm concerned, that guy, he's irreplaceable. We can't replace him. So, whatever this council decides as to what you want to do, Ray, you could let him know, and we'll let him know that you'll be talking with him, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Can I just
Yeah.
finish? So like I said, Ralph provided me an email, there's some information on here. I'm gonna pass it down so everybody could read it, and then also we could leave it with the clerk, so it's on file.
Yes.
I'll let you make the motion.
Thank you, Councilman. I was also copied on the email regarding the cost of replacing the iPads in the amount of $3,191.60. And we do have a funding source available, which is our recording fees account, the 10% account, which was used when we initially purchased the iPad. So I would like to make a motion that we ask the town clerk to process this request, send it to the finance department to take from the 10% account, the recording fees account, to replace the iPads, and also for the that would be for 8 iPads with the protective covers for a total amount of $3,191.60.
Mr. President, can I add to that? In that motion, I asked Ralph, which is included in the fee, I believe it's on the email, the iPad protective case has a keyboard with it, which I thought was important. So,
Okay, motion's been made by Councilwoman Brady, is there,
second.
and Councilman DeStefanis, seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. I have a question. Number one, can we trade these old iPads in for a refund or rebate?
I don't know, I think, from what I understand, I think Ralph's gonna take these back. I don't know if he sells them or, back to Apple. I don't know what the process is.
Yeah, Mr. President, I had,
Yeah, well, because I really don't use it, and I still have mine.
May I
So,
make a,
Yep, I was just saying, you know, maybe we could get some money off and possibly purchase 7 or 6, because I prefer paper, I'm old school, you know, so.
Mr. President, I was hoping that we could consider donating the iPads, maybe check with the school department to see if they might have a use for
Recycle them
them.
throughout the town.
Because mine works very
Yeah.
well, and I know they're 5 years old, but I would think that they might
That's
have an
actually good, yeah.
appropriate use for one of the smaller classrooms.
I think,
Just a
if I
thought.
may, Mr. Chairman, being that we merged the IT with the schools, that's exactly what I was going to say. I would leave it up to Ralph, because I can tell you this. If there's a home for Ray's iPad, Ralph will find it.
Okay.
And it'll be for good use, because again, he's interacting with the school department every day, the different schools, so I think that's probably the right thing to do.
Okay. All right, so a motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. And item number 19, council governing rules or policies. Councilman DeStefanis requests discussion and possible vote on council governing rules or policies. Councilman?
Mr. President, I was just reviewing our governing rules. You know, I understand at some points in time, we may have an issue in front of us that is either sensitive, has come about, you know, rather quickly, or needs a decision rather quickly. But I believe that each council member here should have the opportunity to review any and all information when being asked to vote on something. So I think that I would like to ask that we create a rule that any and all information concerning anything that we're voting on be provided 5 days prior to the meeting, like you would advertise in it, you know, an agenda item. You know, I just don't see sometimes why we have an issue on the agenda, but we don't have all the subsequent documentation behind that issue available to us to review. And sometimes contracts can be quite lengthy to review immediately, or, you know, during this time frame that we are having a council meeting. So on issues where we are being asked, you know, to vote on something, I think that any and all pertinent information, especially contracts, should be provided in advance, so we have necessary time to read and digest and research the information and make a comprehensive decision.
Councilman, I remember this coming up in the past, and it's a very good point. Do you mind placing this in committee, because our legal counsel thinks it's in the rules somewhere, he wants to take a look.
What committee would we send that to?
For the ordinance committee.
Okay, so I make a motion to refer this to the ordinance committee.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilman DeStefanis, seconded by Councilman Brady. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
And, Mr. President, just for one other point, I also noticed in our rules that everything has to go through you. So, I'm hoping with the renovation that we're proposing for this chamber, that these, you know, desks are situated where those of us at the end don't have to sit there and get a cramped neck all night speaking to you.
Yeah, you see the plans? Go ahead.
We're giving you a swivel chair.
Councilman Di Lorenzo had a question?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to add something to that.
Okay.
Councilman, Councilwoman, if I can. Not just pertinent stuff like contracts. How about everything? How about we get a synopsis of everything that's on the agenda, on any issue? Not just certain issues, on every issue,
It's a novel idea.
on everything.
I'm for that.
Yeah, I would like to look at this
Yeah.
in the ordinance committee, because like I said, we reviewed it in the past, and there was, I'll have legal counsel do some research first.
Should I make a motion on that? No?
I can include that. All right. All right. Item number 21, flooding at Tarkland Street. Councilman Amorigi requests discussion and vote regarding flooding occurring at 22 Tarkland Street and the work that the DPW was supposed to perform to address this issue. Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. President. This issue, at least as far as I'm concerned, goes back to an item that I placed on the agenda last March. But in all reality, this issue has been going on for many, many years. The family that lives at 22 Tarkland Street has been dealing with flooding that arises at street level, encroaches on the front of the house, but more, I think, concerning also some runoff behind the house that actually floods his whole backyard and has now started actually going into his house. After I made the motion in March, a letter was sent to the DPW, and they did respond right away. They went out, they identified where the gas lines were to do some digging. I believe they actually widened one of the drains, which alleviated some of the problems on the front side of the property. But since then, it's my understanding, and I get almost weekly calls from that neighborhood, that nothing further has been done. I would like to, I guess at this point, follow up with the DPW, and it looks like the mayor's here to perhaps chime in on this issue. But I think what's important, I said this last March, and I'll say it again, is I think the town is extremely lucky that this gentleman or he and his wife have not actually taken any action, because they've had numerous instances where they've had to do some flooding abatement in their house. There could be potential health issues arising due to mold, and they've been very, I think, more than patient with us, and I'd just like to see some movement on this.
Councilman's absolutely right. We have been out there a couple of times, did discover one of the lines was plugged behind his house. The water's coming off the back of that hill there. But I will tell you this, that road is a top priority and scheduled to get fixed as soon as the weather breaks. The entire road. Because the road in that portion right there is like this. There's a drain right down the side of his driveway. I've been there a couple of times, so it will be getting taken care of. So both of you guys would know, and along with Alice.
Thank you.
You know, we went there the last time, and it was a Saturday at the storm time, and put the backhoe in and dug a trench in that portion of the dead-end road that backs up to the street on the top there. So you're right, and we are addressing it.
If I may, and I'm sure the administration will follow up on it, but if we can just, at least from our letterhead from the town council, just send a letter to the DPW asking them to complete the work.
Okay, motion has been made by Councilman Amorigi. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Brady. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 22, board appointments. Town council discussion and possible vote with regard to the appointment to be made to the Environmental Commission. Please see letter from Secretary of said commission. Okay, just please excuse me. I'm trying to play council president and clerk tonight. So.
Yeah, this is the letter.
That's a setting where it shuts off. It times out.
I don't blame you.
Old school.
Yeah.
See, I love this more. I don't like the paper. I don't like all this. I like everything in here. Less is more.
Subject to his acceptance. And then we'll make a motion to send a letter to the Republican Town Committee if there's, for a vacancy, a minority vacancy.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman?
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Alec Lodger as the Democrat appointee to the Environmental Commission pending his acceptance of the position.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilman Brady. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
And
If there's a Republican vacancy,
can I entertain a motion to send a letter to the Republican Town Committee asking for a candidate to fill the vacancy?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman DeStefano, seconded by Councilman Brady. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 3, claims submitted. Town council discussion and possible vote with regard to the claims received from the following: John Dutchover, 28 West River Parkway, North Providence. Caroline Ritchie, 121 Farnham Avenue, North Providence. And Tiffany Hyatt, 13 Alfred Drive, North Providence. Do I have a motion to send these to the claims committee?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman DeStefano, seconded by Councilman Brady. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 24, Claims Committee Report. Town Council discussion and possible vote with regard to the Claims Committee Report and approval, denial, or referral of claims within said report to be presented by Councilman Fiola. Councilman?
Thank you, Mr. President. North Providence Claims Committee met earlier this evening. Claims were resolved as follows. Riley claim, damage to auto, was approved in the amount of $1,252.18. Hyatt claim, damage to auto, approved, $300. Carden claim, damage to property, item is going to be continued. Dutchover claim, damage to property, that item is going to be continued. Isabella claim, damage to auto, is denied. And Ritchie claim, damage to auto, is denied.
Is there a motion to accept the report?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman DeStefano, seconded by Councilman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 25, Finance Committee Report. Town Council discussion and action with regard to the Finance Committee Report to be presented by Councilman DeStefano. Councilman?
Mr. President, the Finance Committee met on January 23rd. At that meeting, the first item of discussion was discussion and possible vote on tax abatements over $1,000. I'm passing the minutes out to the meeting, but I have some changes. So, based on the fact that new information has come forth, I would request of this council to make a motion to send 1112 Charles Street and Fruit Hill Plaza back to the Finance Committee for re-review.
Okay, a motion's been made by Councilman DeStefano. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Fiola. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay. And then, there were 4 other, tax abatements, recommended, at the meeting. They're on your attached minutes. And then the second item that was discussed at the Finance Committee was the DeMarco issue. Mail and Body provided the committee with a overview of the current DeMarco issue from the start of the issue to current, what's going on with it. And the committee is recommending to the council to authorize the mayor and the town solicitor to sit down and negotiate a settlement with the DeMarcos. So I submit to you the minutes as is.
Okay, a motion's been made by Councilman DeStefano. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Fiola. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 26, tax addendas. Town council discussion and action with possible vote for the approval of the list of tax addenda received from tax assessor in the amount of $80.84 for motor vehicles and $29,429 for tangibles. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion has been made by Councilman Fiola. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman DeStefano. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Number 27, tax abatements under $1,000. Town council discussion and action. Possible vote for the approval of the list of tax abatements under $1,000 received from the tax assessor in the amount of $178.82 for real estate.
I'll be recusing, Mr. President,
Okay.
from the real estate abatements.
Just note for the record, Councilwoman Brady is recusing. And $774.62 for motor vehicles. Do I have a motion to abate?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman DeStefano, seconded by Councilman Fiola. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded.